Tem um momento na carreira que precisamos dar um passo além. É hora de fazer uma pós-graduação. Só que muitas vezes o custo pesa no bolso, inviabilizando tudo. Com a pós-graduação do Senac, você não tem esse problema. Cursos com até 50% de desconto e muito mais tempo para pagar. TCC opcional, modelo flexível com aulas presenciais e online e alguns cursos com apenas 12 meses de duração. Não tem mais desculpa, hein? Saiba mais em sp.senac.br/pós-graduação.
Today on CityCast Portland, we're continuing our neighborhood guide series where we talk with Portlanders about the good, bad, and ugly of where they live. And this time, we're talking about Southeast Portland's Foster-Powell neighborhood with one of its longtime residents, Phoebe Flanagan. Phoebe has produced podcasts for Gimlet, Spotify, and OPB, and she's here to tell us why Foster-Powell might be the home of Abe Lincoln's childhood wood stove. It's Thursday, January 16th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Before we get into specific spots to check out, do you just want to name the boundaries of Foster-Powell? Because I do believe this neighborhood, to a lot of people, just came into existence.
Right. So for me, I feel like it's Foster, Powell, 82nd. You got your triangle there. But I do kind of wonder, I feel like south of Foster also sort of is part of Foster-Powell. And then there's sort of like it like bleeds into Lentz a little bit. It's not quite the same, but we are like sister neighborhoods and we share probably some, I don't know, I feel like we would claim some of the same on 82nd.
Would you claim Bella?
No,
Okay.
that's all Lentz.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
You're like, we would love to claim Bella.
We would love to.
Well, give me your best Foster-Powell pitch. Like, what do you love about living there?
Yeah, I feel like the thing that really appeals to me is something that I feel like every guest you've had on your show has already said about why they love their neighborhood, which is like, oh, it's like old Portland, you know? But I really mean it this time.
Do you think we're all living in Old Portland and there's just a sliver of New Portland and that we just keep hearing about
and it's empty. No one lives there, actually. But so I was trying to think of like something else like beyond that I think does make our neighborhood really special. And I got to give it up for the alleys. I think we have the best alleys in the whole city.
Explain.
In Foster-Powell. Almost every block, there's an alley behind. And like I love walking the alleys. Some are more tended than others. Mm-hmm. There's always like in the summertime, like lots of people's like fruit trees and grapevines and stuff that reach over and you can sort of like have a buffet walk. You can like look into people's backyards.
All of these things sound just a touch illegal, I want you to know. You're just like a real Huckleberry Finn out there.
Exactly. Old Portland. Huckleberry Finn energy.
Trick people into painting your fence.
Yes, 100%. It's fun though. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel like I'm having a little exploration in my neighborhood. And once a year, they also do this, what do they call it? The alley sweep, where like all these dirt bikers.
I was about to say sweep the alley.
Yes, and they like just zip through there. And it's very entertaining. You know, my garage opens on the alley, so you can just open it up and like post up and watch. It's also a good place, maybe because the front of my house is on a busy street. Like the alley, the neighbors are all chilling.
Oh, is that like your garage hangout area?
Kind of.
Yeah, like your front porch, but it's the alley?
Yeah, kind of like because people will walk their dog down there or maybe they're like, will garden along their back fence. And so you get a chance to like just chat and it's very, I don't know, it's very, I like our alleys. I think they're special. I did once find a mummified cat in my alley.
Was that a pro or a con?
I mean, it definitely fed the adventure feeling of being in the alley.
Yeah. You're not at all walking away from this Huckleberry Finn accusation because I'm pretty sure they also had a mummified cat. I think Tom Sawyer was swinging one around.
Uh-huh. Oh, I remember that chapter vividly. Yeah. It's just you never know what you're going to find in the alley.
You know, this might lead us to the next question I was going to ask, which was like, what are your gripes? Because I feel like Foster-Powell has a beautiful little business district, growing food scene. But trying to cross any street in Foster-Powell, you're just like, I'm not Catholic and I cross myself.
Yes.
And I feel like that it would make sense why people are like, we're going to walk our dogs
in the
alley.
alleys.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought this up because particularly on Powell, I almost got hit by a car last week. Like straight up. I mean, look, it's people drive fast on Powell and it wasn't at a light. It was at like one of those pedestrian crosswalks.
But still, it's a pedestrian crosswalk, you know?
I know. And it's one of those situations where one car stops and then the one behind it is like, I'm annoyed. Why are you stopping? And like zooms around.
Uh-huh.
The streets can be a little hairy. And in particular, Powell. Are you familiar with that stretch of Powell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You know how there's all those like empty parking lots with no like business even that it's next to. Apparently, like at one point in time, Powell was almost built into this like huge freeway. They were going to call it the Mount Hood Highway.
Oh, wow.
Almost like on the scale of I-5.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 70s. But this project got shut down by, neighbors.
Wealthier neighbors.
Yeah, well, I think probably, more like down Ladd's Addition area. And I mean, it would have affected all of us all the way through. But I guess they were part way to doing it already, where like they had raised houses. Fact check me on all of this, because half of it I'm just like completely baking up as I go.
No, you know what's when we had Crystal Ligori on to talk about Lents, she discussed the
same thing.
Yeah, because she's like, the reason Lents is split up is because of this thing that they were almost going to do.
Right. But now the relic of that is we have all this unused, just like dead space along Powell. And it's interesting because last week I got the email from the Foster-Powell Neighborhood Association, and the new council representatives for our district sent out like a survey about like, what do you want to see change in your neighborhood? And you could rank priorities. And one of them was to get Powell taken back from a state
Yes, I thought that already
highway
happened.
to a no, it's state. It's state. That's why it's like nothing has been done about it. It's like kind of it lives in limbo.
Yeah. And I know there was like another gripe you had, which is that,
Oh yeah.
I mean, what happened to the Mercado?
Yes.
Why does stuff keep catching on fire in that area?
I don't know, but it makes me so sad. And the Maple Leaf Diner right there as well. I really loved that spot. And yeah, similar situation. They both like had a major fire and then haven't been able to reopen. I have heard that there's a plan to reopen the Mercado like hopefully mid-year. And they're like planning all these big renovations and it's going to be bigger. And I don't know, it was a special spot for our area, and it's been hard to have it like down for so long. And for the businesses that were there, I know that's been like a real hit for people, but I'm excited to hear it's coming back.
Right. I'm going to miss that little bar, and I forget, it's like Barrio.
Yes.
The person who ran that bar, he was so sweet and so cool, and he just knew everybody's name.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had a drink and draw. I think the fire started in that bar.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
Phoebe spreading rumors. Yeah.
I know. That's what I heard from my neighbor.
So where would you take someone new to the area?
I mean, well, I'd want to take him to the business district. I really love Bar Carlo down there. Bar Carlo's great for brunch, or you want a little like drink. The chips and guac there is like incredible. And across the street, Kitchen Culture is one of my fave spots. It's like they sell lightly loved kitchen equipment, so you can get your like KitchenAid mixer or whatever, knives. We bought knives there before, a more reasonable price. And they also have classes.
That's so cool.
I did like a canning one and really got like the fear drilled into me about botulism.
I was about to say, that's why I don't can, is botulism.
I don't think I'll ever can again.
What is it? I don't know, but it'll kill you.
It'll kill you and you won't even see it coming.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite, and I feel like a very Foster-Powell establishment, is Buck's Stove Palace. I was so curious about it for years before I even lived here. And I ended up buying a stove at said palace. Buck is this, I don't know, he's like an older dude who's been in the area forever, loves to chat. You go in there, you will have a great conversation with him. And he collects like all these like antique stoves. I'm pretty sure he has one of Abraham Lincoln's stoves. Again, am I spreading misinformation? Maybe.
Word on the alley is
Exactly.
that Buck's Stove Place is also the home of Abe Lincoln's childhood stove.
Stove. So you heard it here first. Yeah. But he has all kinds of old, like, you know, those really beautiful, like, sort of big, rounded, odd shaped. There's some that are like cast iron.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually got one that's like, it looks like a cool old cast iron stove, but it's a modern flip a switch kind.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So Buckstove Palace, I love. And it's like a delightful little peek into the weird world of Foster-Powell. And then Onshuen.
Oh, I love Anjou.
Love Onshuen. So it's down on like more towards like 50th,
Mm-hmm.
right next to Thunderbird.
It's right on the corner.
Yes. And great baked goods. I love their ube mochi donut and great banh mi's too. When I moved here, I think they were like $2.75 a banh mi. Now, you know,
They're like $5.
they've raised prices as they should.
Yeah, total. Now they're $5.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, the perfect Foster-Powell date. Okay, where would you take someone on the perfect date?
Okay, the perfect date. The Lalo is this fun little bar over there that's owned by the same people who own like Sandy Hut and the Jug.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's got the same, like, very cozy dive bar vibe. Really good burgers, really good tater tots. We have a tradition, like, whenever somebody comes to visit from out of town, we go from the airport to the Lalo, no matter what time it is. Although now we have a baby, so that is less likely to occur. But so I would start there, get a little drink. They have a fun patio in the summer. And then I would walk across the triangle. There is a very cool little art box. Like, it almost looks like one of those like little free libraries, but inside it's like a miniature museum.
We actually had someone to talk about these. They call them like joy stations. There's a map that you can go through all of them. Did you know this?
Amazing. I did not know this.
Yeah.
And I'm so, because it is a joy station. That's
Yeah.
the perfect name. It makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's fun because they're always like rotating the exhibit in their tiny little museum. And I'd make sure we stopped there and take a peek at what's showing now. And who knows, if I really like this person, I might like take them through an alley. I guess this person would be my husband. And he'd be like, please stop making me go in the alleys with you.
He's like, I've seen the dead cat.
Yeah. And then you got to go to street disco. I feel like that is such a lovely date night dining destination. The vermouths they have over there, delicious. Tinned fish with fried saltines. Have you ever had their fried saltines?
No.
They're amazing. They puff, like, I don't like saltines, but they puff up like a pillow and they like melt in your mouth.
Okay, yeah. My mouth is
So
watering.
good.
Yeah, I want to go there just for wine and tin fish.
Yes.
Maybe I'll try the vermouths. I know their Basque cheesecake's really good.
Yes, it's so good with a little bit of salt and honey on top. It's like incredible. I really love that place.
Are they still doing their dollar oysters on Mondays?
I'm not sure, but I feel like I did see that on their Instagram recently.
Yeah, no, they also have a great brunch. I just feel like street disco should pay me because anytime anybody says street disco, I'm just like, you have to eat the sandwich that they make, which is like this McDonald's, you know, the McGriddle. They make like an elevated
Oh.
version of that, and it's so good. It's my favorite breakfast sandwich.
Yes.
You're so close to it. You should go try it.
I should go. And breakfast is like way more my speed now with baby's hours. So that sounds awesome.
Well, let's talk about where it's so funny because this is the question where I ask, like, well, where are the locals hanging out? But I feel like we already all know.
In the alley. Yeah.
No, but what are some other places that the locals are hanging out?
The locals are hanging. To be honest, me as a local, this is also framed through my lens, which, as you know, very alley oriented.
Mhm.
Also very like, when is a 7-month-old awake oriented? So the locals that I'm seeing, we're hanging around the Holgate Library.
That sounds like
We're
fun.
hitting that baby sing-along hour.
Uh-huh.
It's actually really great. Have you the new Holgate
Have
Library?
I been to the baby sing-along hour?
No, not the baby sing-along. They just redid this library. It just
Oh,
reopened, and
gotcha.
it was like a huge city infrastructure project, and it's so
Oh,
beautiful.
it's gorgeous.
Yes.
Nice.
Huge upgrade. Everybody swamps to that baby sing-along, and like I think at one point they introduced like you had to sign up in advance because there were so many there like I walked in and there were like 20 babies in this room just crawling all over each other on the floor.
I just saw no parents and all babies.
Just let them loose, chuck them in there.
Well, where else? I mean, you put Starday, Hammer and Jacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Starday is a great spot. It's another local bar that's on that business strip of Foster. And they always have just like good music and live acts. One of my favorite memories there was this like really cryptic flyer posted up and down Foster at one point. A man who wanted to apologize to someone else who he didn't know. And he had left this flyer to be like, meet me at the Starday Tavern at this date and time. And I was like, well, I'm nosy and have time. Like, I'm going to be there. But the best thing about this was I showed up and every other person in the bar was there for the same reason and was like, so is he here yet? Like, did he apologize? So I feel like that's where we go to have a good time and be a little nosy.
Do you know that the tagline is the most okayest bar?
Yes. And it's true. I would say they're more than okay.
I'm being told by our producer that that's where she did her open mic.
Yes, they do open mics. Yeah, they have like a lot of little just cool events and stuff. And I really love Starday. Hammer and Jacks too. Yes, this is another child-friendly activity.
Oh, it's a toy store and event space.
It's a toy store, yeah. And they have like a play area in the back. And I just learned you can do birthday parties there. So one day I'll be hosting my birthday there and you're gonna come.
So we have Starday. So I'm like, let's back it up here.
Yeah.
The locals in Foster-Powell are hanging out at the baby sing-along at the new library on Holgate. Hammer and Jacks, which is a children's toy store and event space.
And the alleys. Don't forget the alleys.
Right, okay, gotcha. Just making sure that I got that. You know. I want to shout out, there is a coffee shop there that I really enjoyed going to.
Kinos?
Yes.
Yes, they just opened. And then also this like butcher.
Like a good butchery?
A good butchery that has apparently the best hamburger in town.
Oh, I think I know. What is that place called?
Proletariat. Butchery, that's it.
So we had the Proletariat butcher on. During the summer, he came on and explained, like he gave some great tips on how to have a good outdoor grilling session.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he just like went in because I told him that I sous vide my steaks and he just was so insulted. It was, you know what I mean? Like he's like, how dare you?
Disgusting.
Yeah, like I said I ate milk steak or something. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, it's cooked. And then like, of course I grill it.
Sous vide is fancy.
Whatever. He was not having it. But yeah, Proletariat, I hear it's a really great butchery. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to mention about Foster-Powell? Like, are there any ghosts, any fun historical lore? You know, anything that you...
Yes, actually.
Okay, go on.
So I got really sucked into this one local lore story when I was planning my wedding because I got married at the Leach Botanical Garden, which is down on 122nd in Foster. And the Leach family, John and Lilla Leach, were like Foster royalty. Like John Leach, Lilla Leach was like this incredible like botanist of her time who like helped preserve the whole Siskiyou wilderness area. It's partly preserved because of her and this like plant that she identified there that is now protected. But they just seemed like the coolest people. Like they would go every summer with their 2 mules to the wilderness and clomp around for like months at a time, just looking for plants. And she was the scientist and he was like, he would make her pancakes basically.
I was like the mule tender. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he also owned, so where Foster Outdoor is now on Foster, that big sort of triangle-shaped building, used to be this like big pharmacy that he owned. And he also was really involved with the YMCA on Foster, was a big force in getting Foster paved, which is wild to me to think about like, oh, right, this used to be like
dirt
countryside.
Yeah.
And now that building, Foster Outdoor, is owned by the son of Buck Stove Palace.
Oh, really?
Yes. Again, fact check me. Hard. All over the place. But like, I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying in the alley. So
this is good stuff. I'm like, more stuff about Foster-Powell. And you're like, let me tell you about Lil Leach. That's great.
A queen of Foster-Powell.
Well, Phoebe, thank you so much for hanging out, going through some of the places that you love in your neighborhood. I had a friend who moved to that location, and so I saw I don't even know if the word is gentrification. It's more like transformation of that area, you know?
Yeah.
Like before the Mercado, and then all this stuff is going in.
Bike lanes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, Phoebe.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for letting me jaw about my neighborhood. It's a great spot.
Now for some events happening this week. Every Thursday on the show, we like to bring you a few recommendations to help you plan your weekend. Here's what we got. Starting tonight through Sunday, the Rose City Classic Dog Show is happening at the Portland Expo Center. Now, I've never been, but witnessing the live agility runs has been a bucket list item of mine, and I'm out of town this weekend, so please go live my dreams. Also, Portland's Folk Festival is back this Friday and Saturday at its usual home, the Crystal Ballroom. A 2-day pass is only $70, and this year's fest is a benefit for Sunstone Way and Music Portland. And if you've been square dance curious, ever since we aired our indoor activities show with professional hobbyist Ryan Hashigan, this Saturday evening at the Alberta Abbey, there's going to be a giant square dance featuring 8 callers and 3 bands. Tickets are $25. This might be the perfect intro. We'll throw a link to our events page for all the details of all the events I just mentioned, and for even more local events and news, sign up for our daily newsletter, Hey Portland, or go check out our website at portland.citycast.fm. That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend, rate or leave us a review. It really does help us out. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim.